What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Car Mechanic Simulator 2021. As always, if you guys are enjoying this series, make sure you leave a like in the video. It'd be greatly appreciated. This one could definitely use a little bit of a extra boost, so if you are an avid viewer of this series, definitely make sure you're leaving likes on every single video if you're enjoying them. If you're not enjoying them, sorry about it, bud. Today, we're going to be doing yet another story order. We have a 2003 Nissan 350Z, but it's not actually a 2003 Nissan 350Z. It's loosely based on that, even though this pack, or this game, does have the Nissan pack installed, or the DLC installed. This Nissan in particular is not part of that DLC, so it's not actually backed by the manufacturer. This is going to be the lore-friendly vehicle. This one says, hey, my name is Jessica, but you can call me Jess. My friend mentioned that you've taken great care of her green Wormy. No idea what car that is, if I'm being honest. I figured that perhaps my car needed some more attention too. On a day-by-day basis, I don't have the time to deal with the mechanics. I think that's clear. For a businesswoman, every minute is at a premium, and wasting time on crawling around in oil and grease, can't imagine anyone would actually be doing that working on a car. Maybe if you don't know what you're doing. Well, that's not for me. Please do a detailed checkup. The car isn't old, but I'll be honest with you, besides refueling and weekly washing, I wasn't really bothered by anything else. I've had it for a couple of years, and I'm getting the impression that it used to be sprier?
Spry. Comparative adjective. Sprier.
This is English. I gotta go back to school. I mean, granted, I probably should have done that anyways, but that word, that's a shock. No idea what that means. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna guess. I think the word sprier, I'm gonna correct myself in the edit. I think the word sprier basically means it used to be a little bit more peppy. Used to have, you know, some more pep in its step, a little bit more spunk. Please do what you can to restore its past performance. Great, thanks. Change the oil and other tasks. Well, lady, I've already forgotten your name. We're gonna take this job on. We're gonna see what this thing's all about. First and first, mostly, as you guys know, we're gonna send it over to the wash bay so we can get her all shined up. I do actually like the orange. Assuming we're gonna be keeping that. Oh my god, dude, this is the first car that we've had, I think, unless, correct me if I'm wrong, of course, first customer car that we've had that has actually shined up and not exposed rust. I'm kind of feeling this one. Even though, again, it's a lore-friendly Nissan. Kind of excited. All right, now that we have all of that done, we gotta wait till the ghost highlighting thing appears again. Now we can move it to car lifter A. We'll do some inspecting, see what we can find out about this vehicle. First, we're gonna take a look. Come on, there we go. At the car status. Oh, there it is. Jessica. How could we forget now? See, if they put every single customer name on each license plate, dude, I'd never forget their names again. I don't know why they don't just do that. Oh, we could also just read through it again right here, I guess. That's also an option. But we have around 4 pages of undiscovered parts. That's to be expected with these story orders now. Let's just pop the hood and we'll take a look around. I'm noticing some fuel stuff, some suspension stuff in the front. Looks like we're low on power steering fluid. It's a little dark in color too, so we might be changing that, draining it completely. We got some maybe messed up fuel rails. I don't think the vehicle's going to turn over. We probably should have just tested that from the get-go. Let's go ahead and move it back to garage entrance A. I'm gonna climb in this bad boy. We're gonna see if she can at least turn over. I mean, this lady did drive it here, so you would think it could turn on, right? Unless she didn't drive it here. Yeah, there's no way. There is no way she could have driven it here. Okay. In that case, we're gonna throw it back on the lift. And just from the minor fuel stuff that I have noticed already from a very brief visual inspection, we are gonna throw it back up on the hoist. But I'm gonna go through with the examination mode. Just check each system with that, see if we can't, you know, discover some gremlins that way. Then, at that point, if we still have a lot more to discover, which I'm sure we will, we'll move into our inspection tools, or our Diag tools here. Really quick though, since the previous episode, we did of course level up, so we actually have 5 available skill points. These up here all cost 5, so honestly, unlocking any of these is a fantastic idea. I personally would really like the ability to repair body panels, which I believe is only achieved by sort of moving up the ladder over here. I don't think we're going to be able to do it by unlocking this one, but at least we're unlocking the next stepping stone to that level, whatever that may be. So let's go ahead and just unlock this one. There we go. That's all 5 skill points used up, and I think that is all for now. Let's get back into tearing this thing apart, so to speak.
1 minute, 37 seconds later.
Okay, after just using the examination mode and nothing but, I am noticing quite a few suspension-related problems up there. You can see we have a bad knuckle, looks like maybe a bad outer tie rod, sway bar end links, and the list just kind of goes on and on. But I don't think having only done that, we're really going to be unlocking... Yeah, see, we're not really unlocking a lot of info here. So with that being said, I think now we can move on to our Diag Tools. We'll go through each of these systems, see what we can learn about, you know, bottom end, the fuel system, all the things, basically. We're going to be learning about all the things in the stuff or whatever. I think this is going to be the first order we've worked on in a long time where almost everything, almost all the problematic parts are sort of localized to the top side of the engine rather than, you know, us having faulty pistons or something stupid like a rod cap, like one faulty rod cap in the bottom end. I think this one actually checks out. It does appear to be mainly top end sort of fueling, timing system stuff, and then also some front suspension problems. The rear end of this vehicle seems pretty solid, so I don't think we even have to waste any time back there, but I do think I'm going to take off these front wheels here. We're going to address the suspension a little bit more, you know, disconnect a few things here and there. And then after that, I honestly feel like having just gone through whatever diagnostic tools we have, I think we actually learned almost everything that was left to be discovered about it. Let's go ahead and check it real quick now that we've got those taken off. Car status, almost, dude. We have like half a page worth of parts yet. So I'm thinking we're gonna find more things as we sort of disassemble the top side of this engine. Again, it does sort of seem like everything is centralized around that location, but I know that we also have a couple of things with this suspension that once we disassemble it, we should actually learn a bit more about each individual part. Right now, we know nothing about the shock absorber, but it's made up of 3 components. So 2 of those appear to be bad. That might be a big chunk of the list on the undiscovered parts. Okay, now that we have the front suspension removed, or I guess just the front shock absorbers removed, you can see that one's at 53%, this one's at 33%, so we're going to take these over to the spring puller, and we are going to separate these things. Again, I'm kind of thinking that, you know, 2 out of 3 of these components could use replaced. So we're going to disassemble both of those. There we go. Now if we take a look at our inventory again, you can see it looks like we have an almost completely dusted left side and almost completely dusted right side. Everything except for the shock absorber cap. So that I think can stay, but we're going to need 2 front shock absorbers and 2 front springs for sure. And just like that, we got the new ones put on. I'm going to go ahead and just sell those front springs and front struts. There we go. So now all we've taken off the vehicle is the front sway bar linkage or end links. Next, I'm going to raise the vehicle up into the air. We're going to bring the oil drain over. We're going to drain all the oil out of the vehicle, but I did notice it looks like the oil filter itself is pretty gross looking. So let's actually just take another peek under here. Yes, dude, that V8 oil filter has seen better days. I also already marked the front sway bar, so we're going to take that out. And now we can drain the oil from the vehicle. There we go. Color looks pretty solid. It's not dirty. Looked to have a decent amount in it, so she was definitely doing very minimal maintenance, as she said. We have yet to disassemble both steering knuckles. Those appear to be faulty, and then it looks like both outer tie rods are also pretty gross. So we're definitely going to get that all changed out. But in the meantime, again, just sort of doing a very brief visual inspection. You can see the crank pulley needs replaced, probably the tensioner, a couple of idler rollers in here that could probably use use a second opinion on. But I'm going to get started on the suspension. We're going to tear this all down, and then we'll just kind of go from there. I'll regroup with you guys before we start disassembling the timing stuff. Okay, we got all the rest of the suspension stuff, you know, deconstructed. Now we're going to work on the timing side of this engine. We could also start working on the top side teardown, just taking off both throttle bodies. And arguably one of the most interesting designed intake manifolds that I've ever seen. It's like flat, dude. It looks like a pancake almost. It's kind of strange. But with those things removed, we now have a lot better view of the fuel rail and the fuel filter. Have I marked that already? I have. Okay, let's just do one of those. There we go. Now we can pull that one out. Let's go ahead and remove the fuel rail on either side. Next, I am noticing a little bit of corrosion on these ignition coils, so I'm assuming that is going to have to come out as well. And then we'll probably end up removing both of these valve covers, because I remember seeing a rocker arm appeared to be, you know, not in the best condition. Definitely not in the best condition. And before we actually continue disassembling the top side of the engine, I am going to start taking apart the timing stuff down here. So first we have to take out this tensioner. That probably needs replaced. We're going to go ahead and mark that anyways. Now for the belts, I don't know if that needs replaced. 51%. Let's take a look at the car status. Yeah, there we go. Cert belt. All right, that's got to be the one. And then 1, 2, 3, 4 parts left, dude. 4 parts left to be discovered. We got this. This in the bag. And this has all been, you know, live Diag, so to speak. Normally, I just do like a time lapse or a compilation of just disassembling parts and things. But not this time. Not this time around. We're doing things a little bit differently today. Kind of feels weird, but it's all right. You know what? It's good to mix things up every now and then. Now let's take a look at the car status. Having disassembled all that, we still have 4 left. So none of those things we just took off were the faulty things. What else we got under here? I don't see anything else that's like obviously discolored or rusty or gross looking, at least from where we're looking right now. So I think now is the time. We're gonna remove both of these valve covers. We'll see what's hiding underneath them. I know there's a bad camshaft. Okay, 2 bad camshafts. Sorry. I don't know Nissan engines very well. This is a single overhead cam, but it has 2 cylinder heads. This other thing that I originally thought was a cam is actually just a rocker arm. Kind of an interesting design, if I'm being honest, but this surely has to include some of the additional parts that we're trying to discover here. So let's go ahead and pop off the other side as well, just so we can get a real good look at what we got going on here. And on this side, pretty much the exact same thing as the other. So we're gonna start by taking off all these camshaft caps, or in this case, rocker arm cap. It's not called that, but it's good. It's good. We're moving on. Okay, with all 4 of the rocker arm caps, as I will call them, removed on either side, we can now remove the rocker arms themselves. That one is rocker arm A, this one's probably B. No, they're both the same. Okay, interesting. And then now, in order to remove what I would call like a camshaft plate, this is way bigger than a camshaft cap. But in order to remove this, we do actually have to take off this timing cover, which means we have to remove basically everything on the front side of the engine. So give me just a minute. We're gonna get this thing deconstructed as well.
A few moments later.
Oh my God. Nissan 350Z owners, if you're out there, if you're watching this, how do you do it? I really want to know, how do you do it, okay? You have to remove the oil pan to take off your timing cover? How does that make any sense? And it's not even just because the oil pan, it's just because of the dipstick tube is in the way. I have no words. I have no words for this. Jessica, there's a word. Honestly though, having to remove the oil pan, oh my God, that's a lot of bolts. Having to remove the oil pan just to remove this timing cover, really not that big of a deal, because if you're having to remove the timing cover, well, I don't know, because we're having to remove the timing cover just so we can remove the camshaft cap. You know, it is kind of a pain in the butt. I will admit, kind of a pain in the butt. At least you don't have to do this like just changing spark plugs or, you know, very common maintenance tasks. You probably wouldn't have to remove the oil pan. So now, to remove the camshaft cap, we have to remove all of the internal guts here. Oh, great, dude. We gotta drain the system. Gotta drain the cooling reservoir, or the coolant reservoir, because it does look like we're gonna be removing the water pump, unfortunately. Dude, this thing goes deep, all right? It's no easy task, for sure. I probably could have gone without doing this job ever, but it's all good. Okay, we got the cam gears removed. Are we ready yet? We are not ready yet, Mr. Krabs. We gotta remove the water pump, and then I think we're good. There we be. Okay, now this final timing cover shell. This is like the backing plate almost for all the timing components. There we go. Okay, with that removed, now we can finally access the camshaft cap. Dude, that's a lot of work to remove your cams. So 350Z owners, again, if you're watching this, just try to avoid ever doing a cam job. All right, we've done pretty heavy visual inspection now. We've done all of our diagnostic tools, and we've also gone through the examination mode. I think we've gotten everything removed from examining, right? Yeah, everything that's left is green, so I think that means we're fine there. It could be something in the rear of the vehicle, potentially. I mean, air filter, maybe? That could be, right? Let's take a peek at the air filter. It's really the only thing that I can think of, because it's just chilling under a cover over here, and we haven't actually inspected this. Oh, bushing. Okay, there's two things if this air filter is dirty. Yes, it is. Okay, and we actually already knew that because of the diagnostic tools that we use, but we're gonna go ahead and mark that now that we know for sure. And the bushings, man, I looked at those bushings literally 2 seconds ago, and they looked okay. But as you can see, they are definitely not okay. This one might be. I'm gonna mark it anyways. You know what? Wait, air filter? No, because we already would have known that. It's already on the list. So we were missing 4 things. It could just be these 4 bushings. I'm gonna mark 4 bushings, and that's what we'll grab from the store. We'll know as soon as we pull them all out. See, these are like 2%. Let's see what this one is. 12%. Pretty rough. And then the first one in the opposite corner over there, that was like 48%, almost 50%. I'd be surprised if that was it. That was it. Okay, here I am surprised. But now that we, of course, know everything that was faulty on the engine, we can go through the store, make sure we purchase everything that needs to be replaced. We'll get it all thrown back into the vehicle, and then I think we'll be done on this job. I'm not really sure how we were able to uncover this. I mean, maybe we were able to find it when we were using the examination mode initially. We certainly wouldn't have uncovered it with a visual inspection, and I can't imagine any of our diagnostic tools being able to diagnose anything in the transmission. But come to find out, we have a clutch plate and a clutch release bearing that need to be replaced. Again, I have no idea how we were able to find that out, because we never removed the gearbox. We never took anything from the, I was gonna say drivetrain, but that's not correct. We never took anything from the transmission back off of the vehicle. Almost everything was done on top of the engine, or we did have to drop the oil pan. But still, that wouldn't have given us any access to see what's going on underneath the gearbox. So a little weird. I want to say it was probably the examination mode, but again, I have no idea if you can actually look at the gearbox in that mode. Here we are marking the clutch release bearing. We can get that pulled off. And then underneath, this is, again, really interesting. It's underneath the actual pressure plate. It's just the clutch plate itself. How would we have known that? We wouldn't have. But since we do, we can go ahead and buy some new components. I didn't even attempt to try to repair any of the parts that we took off of the vehicle. I really need to start doing that. I just completely forget that we have an entire room dedicated to repairing parts. Literally to the right of us at all times. Unless we're standing this direction, then it would be to our left. I'll get better about it. I will definitely get better about it. And I think once we stop doing so many of these story orders, and once we start actually working on our own vehicles and trying to bring them back to life, whether they're a salvage vehicle or an auction vehicle, I think then we'll really start utilizing a lot of those other facilities that we don't typically utilize. But there we go. I think that is everything now sorted, at least on this part, we still do have to change the oil and top off all the other fluids. Oh, other tasks I completely forgot about. Change power steering fluid, easy. Alignment, also easy. And then refill washer fluid. Okay, perfect. I was hoping they weren't going to throw a wrench in there and be like, oh, also, we'd love for you to turbo this vehicle. No, cannot do. So let's quickly get our drain tool and just extract whatever remaining power steering fluid they had in there. Perfect. And we'll do the same for the windshield washer fluid. There we be. And now we did actually drain the coolant from the vehicle because we did have to remove the timing cover, which we had to remove the water pump in order to accomplish that. So we're going to top this off as well. Perfect. And now we can just go around, top off the power steering fluid. Brake fluid was fine. Didn't have to mess with any of that. And then we'll do the washer fluid. Take this over to the test path. We will do the wheel alignment over there. I'm feeling pretty good about this. This was definitely not the way I usually go about recording these videos. A little unorthodox, I will admit. But again, you know, good to mix things up every now and again. Keeps things fresh, keeps me on my toes. All right, oil. We do need oil before we send it off as well. Now we're gonna get the vehicle moved over to the test path. We'll do a quick wheel alignment. You guys know the deal. If it's negative, we're gonna move it positive. If it's positive, we're gonna move it negative until all the values equal 0. There we be. All right, good as new. Let's check the vehicle one mo again. Just make sure we got all the miscellaneous tasks and things. And then I need a sick photo of this beast. The orange is very eye-catching. I think it's gonna work out pretty well. I've also just decided that I'm titling this episode Jessica in all caps and nothing else. I think that's a solid one, you know? People are gonna wanna click on that, obviously. So now that we've got our photo and we finished up the order for Jessica, I think we're ready to send it on over. No, we're not. Hang on, we're missing the starter. That's a bit awkward. Definitely hard to turn the vehicle over when it's missing a starter. Completely understandable. All right, now we're ready. There she goes. All right, dude, we're up to 75,000 big ones in the bank. We're still level 17, so we'll have to level up if we want to do another story order for the next episode, but I'm not really sure yet. I guess we'll have to wait and see what the next episode brings. However, that is where we're going to be winding down this episode at for today. So once again, if you guys did enjoy, please leave a like, leave a comment, help support the dream by smashing that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Peace.